Bumming with Bob. Let's have a few brews. We'll have some fun with the bum wine crew. So kick your feet up and grab you a beer. 'Cause damn, man, I'm glad that you're here.
All right. This is Bumwine Bob welcoming you to an all-new edition of Bumming with Bobcat. And joining the show this week, she is a multi-time award-winning adult performer, one of the top girl-on-girl performers in the adult industry. She's also a producer, director, and next year we'll be celebrating 20 years in the adult industry. She is the one and only, the lovely Miss Sinn Sage is with us this week. Sinn, how are you tonight?
Hello. So nice to be here. I'm doing awesome.
Oh, hey, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to hop on the podcast and hang out, have a drink or two, and see what kind of trouble we'll get into tonight. So starting off right away, what are you drinking? What do you have on tap?
Well, right now I have just, a classic Mexican beer, Pacifico. I will open this up right now.
You can't go wrong with that. I would say I was on the it's in the same family of the Modelo, and I had that. I was enjoying some of that last week for Cinco de Mayo. I was out there, and I told a friend of mine, he's a podcast friend of mine, that literally the night before I had a dream that he showed up to a party and gave me a case of Corona. And while I didn't get the Corona, I was out at the store and I bought the big 32-ounce bottle of the Modelo and went with that. And I told this, and it was one of those really vivid dreams. And I saw it, and I was like, I went to the store and I was like, okay, well, I'm not getting the Corona. Well, I do love a nice Corona and lime from time to time. I saw the big bottle of Modelo, and I was like, all right, I'm going with that one. But you can't go wrong with the Pacifico either.
I think it's one of my faves as far as the Mexican beers go. I think Pacifico, and I like that Estrella Jalisco as well.
Okay. I haven't had that one.
Yeah, it's really good. But generally, I really love like Japanese beers. Asahi is like one of my favorite as far as sort of, I guess, like non-crafty style of beers.
Okay.
More like grocery store fare.
No, trust me. When you're talking to me, I am the bottom shelf connoisseur when it comes to cheap booze. Because what I just cracked open before we started recording is, since it is the month of May, we are celebrating MD 2020 May, and I have an MD 2020 Spiked Punch and Island Pineapple. Now,
what color is it?
It is yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that shit is horse. That Mad Dog. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So this is a little different. They came out with last year, so these are in cans. So they're more of a
like a drink.
Yeah, like a malt beverage, trying to capitalize on that market.
Almost like the sparkly water thing, like the
similar to that. Water.
Yeah, like, so I am a huge fan of sparkling water. So like in front of me right now, I've got my water bottle, my LaCroix berry flavor, and my Pacifico.
Okay, you have a variety there.
And I go through, like, between my husband and I, we go through probably like about a 12 pack a day of the sparkling waters.
Yeah, see, I like that. Now, are you a fan of like the hard seltzers and those type of drinks?
Like, I wanted to be so bad, like, because I love seltzer water, but those sparkling seltzers, those spiked ones, like the hard ones, they give me a headache every single time. And I don't get headaches. I'm not a headache person. So when I start drinking something and like, I'm not even a third of the way through and I already feel this tension building in my head and I'm like, I can't drink this. This sucks. I so badly wanted to.
Yeah, and I've brought this up many times before, and they're the hit thing. Everybody loves them. They're everywhere you go. Is hard seltzer, this, that. Every company has one.
Oh yeah.
And And I'm a big fan of just regular sparkling water seltzers.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I am not a fan, for the most part, of any hard seltzers. I just think they have kind of a fake aftertaste to them. If I want to drink a bubbly alcoholic drink, I'll take a seltzer and then pour alcohol with it
Yes.
and do
Make
it
my
that way.
own. Yes.
Exactly. Then
Same.
you can control how crazy do you want to get. Do you want to just put one shot in, two shots, and kind of go from there?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yes. I mean, it's the big fat. And anywhere you go, every day there's something new when it comes to a hard seltzer. I was out at the store yesterday, and Bud Light now has some groovy mix pack. Now they have a hard soda one that I have a can of that I'm going to be reviewing next week with a friend of mine on the show, and they're just all over the place. And it's not dying down. At the beginning, people thought it was a fad, but it's been like 3 or 4 years of this, and it just keeps going on and on. So where it ends, nobody knows. but this MD 2020, this is a little higher. This is a 12% alcohol here. So it's similar to, so from what you said, so I'm assuming you've taken a trip down the MD 2020 road before in your past. I'm assuming from your
oh yeah, we bought not a lot, but I remember within the past 10 years at least buying like the flask size, and I want to say it was blue or it was pink watermelon, or we could have had both, and we were just
maybe was it the blue, was it the bling bling with the gold chain on the logo on the front?
I don't.
Okay, all right.
It was a while ago, so I don't know.
Yeah, or depends on how much you drank of it that night. True. You might not remember too much of it. It happens too. So I think everybody has their own MD 2020 story, and either they say they'll never drink it again, or if you're somebody like me and my usual crew that I run with in the podcast world, they're on the same level as me.
I'm just like, the older I get, and that keeps happening, I haven't figured out how to stop it yet. I just want to avoid feeling like shit the next day, and that MD doesn't lead to a great next day. And like shit that I could handle in my 20s, like no.
I hear you. This is actually the first drink I'm having tonight, since we're recording this here on a Thursday night. I recorded my previous podcast last Friday night, and since we're celebrating this MD 2020 May, me and my buddy Roadhouse, we did a podcast, and we cracked open, we mixed up what we call the Mad Mosa, which was the MD 2020 Orange Jubilee, like the orange flavored one, and some cheap champagne.
Yes.
So we mixed that up, and we're like, oh wow, this is really good. So had drank some of that, and then we topped it off with a new beverage. It's a neon spiked punch drink, similar to like any other malt beverage. And so we were drinking that, and then I had the bright idea of mixing that with champagne. And that next day, that Saturday after, was a very rough day. And like you said, when you drink that stuff and you wake up the next day and you're like, it was a good idea at the time.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
It was and it was fun. That after we died, I'm hanging out, I'm still drinking, listening to music, just hanging out. And then all of a sudden it was like the flipped a switch, and it was like, oh crap. All right, I gotta go to bed now. And then the next thinking, okay, maybe I'll sleep it off next day. One of those hangovers that just kind of lingered until the late afternoon. After finally having lunch, and then by dinner time, like, okay, I'm starting to feel human again. So, it happens. I mean, we've all been there before, and that's why some people say, okay, that's on the no-fly list when it comes to drinks. So it's like, well, why not? Stick with what you like and what you know you can
It's
stay
true.
out of trouble with.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah. Because what's your go-to drinks? Like if you were just hanging out, relaxing.
I mean, it just kind of depends so much on like where I'm at, what my mood is, what's the mood of the night and stuff like that. But like if I go, so I used to be a person who I could never, like I could only drink vodka. That was like the only liquor type of drink that I could ever have. And then over the past couple of years, I've actually gotten a little bit into tequila, but just like it with drinks and stuff, like mixed drinks. So
Yeah, no, you're not doing shots. You're not doing shots of it.
no, God,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Hell fucking no. I'm not doing shots, period. Like I have to be in such a crazy, wacky mood if I feel like doing short shots. But yeah, so if I go to a Mexican restaurant, I'm gonna have a margarita, like usually one that's like, you know, hibiscus margarita or something real classy like that. And then if I'm going to have sushi, you know, I'm definitely gonna have some Asahi beer. And I'm not big on sake. I like cold flavored sake. So if it's, you know, I've had like banana sake before or
Okay.
strawberry mango, like I can drink those sakes. um and then but yeah, like champagne, I love champagne. It's probably one of my favorite things to drink, whether it's, you know, sparkling wine or legit champagne or like a dry prosecco. I don't really like the sweet stuff. um and so yeah, vodka. Back in the day, I used to do like spiced rum and Coke, like Captain and Coke and stuff like that. But that shit is too sweet now. It's
Well,
sweet.
yeah, you're right. Like you said, if you're mixing it with the Coke or something like that, then you could
Yeah.
serve it now.
And I
Yeah,
don't drink soda anymore, really, especially since I started drinking the sparkly waters. Like I am just off soda completely.
yeah.
So
It's a good substitute.
yeah, yeah. And so when I do have, like if I'm feeling in the mood for like a vodka cocktail, it kind of will be vodka and then like a flavored sparkly water, and I'll just go with that. And then usually, you know, I'll have one and then I'm like, yeah, I'm good. That's good for me. I really only drink like uh you know, I only really drink to get drunk like if I'm going out. And I usually that's maybe like once every few months that I like go out and I'm like, I'm gonna have some drinks tonight. I'm not gonna give a
Yeah,
shit. Like, but I will
it's
say
yeah.
the last time I went out, I had like maybe 3 or 4 different beers. And then I was like, I'm feeling good, but the show's almost over. I think I'm just gonna get one champagne. And that's what fucking killed me. It was that mix. Like whatever you pick, you gotta stick with it. It was mixing that champagne, being like the one more, just one more, and it fucking ruined me.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I can do one champagne. What's the worst that can happen? And then it's like that's when it
Mhm.
puts you over the edge. And
Yeah, my brain, my thinking was already not right.
yeah, yeah, no, we've all been there. I mean, it seems like you're kind of a chameleon when it comes to your drinks, and he said you kind of adapt to the situation of you being out at certain places, of what you're drinking and what you have, and then if you really
Yeah.
decide you're like I said, you try to match it. You know, you're at Mexican, you get something similar to that. You're at the
Yep.
Japanese restaurant, you get something related to that, and it's always
Yeah.
fun to do that and try different types of drinks at those places to see what you like and
Totally.
don't like. I mean, as long as
Yeah.
you're not spending, you know, like $15 on a drink that you don't like when you go out somewhere, you're like, oh, this is what it
That
was.
can
Oh,
suck.
great.
That can suck. But yeah, or like there's this good Italian restaurant that's out here and they have really, really awesome cocktails. So and they are like $15. So it's not like you're going to those places and getting enough cocktails to like get drunk. Like you're just enjoying the flavor of the drink with your meal and stuff, you know?
Yeah, if you're looking to get drunk at that point, make sure you pregame a lot beforehand,
Exactly.
and then you'll be ready to go. Just like going out to clubs and bars, it's okay. Get together beforehand, have your drinks, then go out because nobody wants to wake up to that receipt of like
Oh,
$200, you know, bar tab of like,
yeah.
what
More than
the hell?
that
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah. Depending on where you're going, I mean, you see that something you're like, holy shit, how did that happen?
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm not looking. I'm just having fun.
Right. At the time, like you said, it's a good idea at the time to
Yeah.
go all out and have fun with it and start drinking all this stuff. And then the next morning it's like, especially if you have to get up and try to be a productive member of society the next day. It's like, okay, let's just call tomorrow off and just do a reset for the next day.
Well, it's just you gotta keep learning some lessons. You just gotta keep learning them.
Yeah, then that's the same with everything. You can't keep going on. You learn what you like, what you don't like, and I guess that kind of also segues kind of nicely into your day job here of being in the in the adult industry, and like I say, you're going up on 20 years in the industry next year. I mean, how's it feel? I mean, does it seem like it's been that long, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Time is just weird. It feels like when you start your life, the first 20 years of your life, maybe 25 years of your life, it just takes forever. It feels like everything is taking so long. And then once you've passed 30, it feels like you're careening down the hill of a roller coaster, and it's just so fast.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You wake up one day and you're like, oh wow, I'm gonna be 40.
Yeah,
dude, it's like, oh,
pretty
okay.
soon.
Yeah.
but so, I guess for me, it just kind of feels like, can't really compare the experience to any other job because I've never really had another career. So it's just like, this is the career I chose. I didn't do it as like a lark or an experimental thing or something to do just for fun. It was just like, this is what I want to do with my life. And I think when I first got into it, I didn't have the same sort of intentions that I do now. Like it really evolved into something more than I kind of even ever imagined it would be, as far as like the meaning that what I do can bring to some people. So that aspect of it has just like been incredibly fulfilling for me. And yeah, so I think the other thing about having done it for this long is that I've reached this point where, I just know what I'm doing. Like I'm very, very confident in like the things I make and the things I do and the way that I do it. And so that's nice, like never showing up for work or starting a day being like, gosh, I hope I do this okay or whatever. It's just like complete and total confidence. So that's a good feeling that comes with, decades in your career. And the other cool thing kind of is that I have a lot of people that sort of, like look up to me or will even ask for maybe advice or, I've even worked with people who are like, oh my God, you were, I was jerking off to you when I was in high school or college, and now we're doing a scene together. And I'm like, oh my God.
Right. It's like, I appreciate that, but,
yeah.
Keep that to yourself, maybe.
No, I love it. I love to hear it. I love to hear that. That's amazing. I mean, since I've got to do this whole getting older thing, which we all got to do, it's cool to, be working with people now that like, we're somehow maybe inspired by what they saw me doing. And I'm like, that's pretty rewarding. Just, I think that's kind of cool. Because, another thing that's interesting is like when I started in this industry, I was the younger one. I was just talking about this with somebody else. Like I was the younger one in all the older, younger scenes. Right. So I was, 24 working with women in their like 30s and 40s and even older, and just being like, okay, this is what we're doing today. All right, cool. And I just remember like the like image that I had of sort of what that means to be in your 30s or 40s or whatever age. And now I'm there and I'm the older one in the older, younger scenes. And just like working with those younger girls and being like, I wonder if they're thinking about me the same way that I used to think about them when I was younger. I mean, I'm sure they are. It's just like a bizarre.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like I want to say mentoring
Yeah,
in a way. I mean, that's
I
that
love that.
because you're working with them. You're showing, okay, you're showing them the ropes of everything, and okay, this is
Mhm.
what you know exactly what they went through because you started
Of course.
when you
Yeah,
were younger
totally.
too, and
Yeah.
you've gone the whole way through. I mean, that's dedication there. I mean, I know I've talked to so many people in the industry over the years, and there's so many people that bounce in and out and back and forth. They're in for a
Yeah.
little time, then they just kind of vanish and
Yeah.
never go back to it. Because, like I said, a lot of people do go into it thinking it as some big, quick, I don't want to say get rich quick scheme type thing, but they're not
That's
looking at
right.
it in the long term. They think, oh,
Right.
I can do this, and I can get paid to have sex on camera or
Or I
whatever.
can pay for school or, pay towards like whatever career my goals really are,
Right,
the
right,
sex
right.
as the goal. But, and
Yeah.
that's fine. Everybody's got to do their own
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, no, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
has their own reasons for doing whatever they do.
Mhm.
I guess what caused you to get into the industry in the first place? Was this just your idea from the start, or was just kind of those things when one day just kind of the light bulb went off and you're like, "Hey, I should do this."
Yeah, it's really weird. Basically, and I gotta say that I don't even know like where this came from. Like I'm a very I like I say lucky, but maybe like I don't know if privilege is quite the right word, but like I am someone who never had to suffer through like child abuse or like sexual abuse or anything like that. So I'm very, grateful and blessed in that sense. But something about when I kind of like hit puberty and I knew porn was a thing that existed. I never really, obviously this we're talking about the 90s.
Hey,
So
this the early days of the internet. And I trust.
yeah.
Hey, I was there with you during that. I'm in your same age range, so I know
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, so it was just like I had seen some images and stuff when I was like younger, but they were like at my girlfriend's house, and she had or her dad had like Easy Rider magazines, and we found those, and we were just like, this is so. Let's look at the boobies again. um, but never was there like videos that we had super easy access to or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
if you had like 4 hours to sit there and download one, like a
yeah.
10-second grainy clip, that was the best
Oh
you
my
could get at the
God, that was
time.
like the size of a nickel or
Yeah.
whatever. Like I never watched a video on the internet for sure, no. But by the time I got to be like maybe 14, 15, I was doing a lot of like sex chatting in like chat rooms, like actual like AOL chat rooms and shit like
Yeah.
that. And so I was just doing that, like using the written word. And I was like, I would sit there and find like a picture of lesbians and for like 15 minutes while the picture fucking downloaded. But even before that, I mean, I swear I was probably about 13 and I was telling all my classmates that I was going to be a porn star when I grew up. And then it kind of shifted to being a stripper. I really wanted to be a stripper because that just seemed to me so exotic. It seemed like just this dark nightlife style of thing that an adult woman could do to make a good living. And I don't know, I was just really attracted to that. I was really intrigued by that and wanted to do it. So I've really just always wanted to be involved in sex work. I was just, and this is kind of something I say, like I was really just born to be I say I was born to be like an entertainer. So I was in theater, acting, drama class, singing, choir, dancing. I did all of that my whole life growing up. I was just a ham and I wanted to be on stage or in front of a camera all the time. So to me, like that sort of transition over to doing adult work, performing, being on stage, taking off my clothes. I knew I was an exhibitionist since I was about 15 or something. I'm also kind of a nudist. I just like being naked. And if people are watching me naked, that's even better. So all of these things just coalesced, and I just kind of knew what I wanted. And I didn't really start working in the strip club till I was 19. When I was 18, I did a couple of like photo shoots that I found in the back of LA Weekly magazine. There'd be little advertisements for photographers looking for adult models. And worked at the strip club, and then met a girl there who got me in touch with her boyfriend who was making her website. And like, I was like, I want a website. And they took me to my first AVN convention, which was in 2003, January 2003. And it was so much bigger back then. It was a huge building, I believe still at the Sands, back in the day. It hasn't been there for years, but and I was just like, my eyes were just wide and sparkling, and I was just so happy. I was like, these are my people. And so got a few gigs from that, and everything just kind of snowballed for me, really, until I would say, so I was always doing videos, but stripping was like my main income source till around 2007-ish. And then I was getting enough work performing in videos that I didn't have to focus on stripping too much anymore. Like I would kind of transition to just doing it from time to time for a little bonus.
Yeah, you went from being focused on that the majority of your nights to, okay, I'm doing these videos and shooting things during the day or whenever. Then maybe 1 or 2 nights a week doing stripping, or
maybe more
that,
like
maybe one or
a couple nights every few months or something.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, because like one thing I remember being really sort of overjoyed with and surprised by pleasantly was just being on a movie set and being treated like so well by everyone there. They feed us and they do our makeup sometimes, and take pictures of us and I felt like a little movie star. I was like, to be treated this way, and then to know I have a guaranteed amount paycheck at the end of that day. I was just like, this is the best. Why does anybody not like this? And especially strippers that I knew that were like, doing favors or whatever in the back. I was like, why don't you just fucking do this? It's like
right. You get paid for it this way. You get a
you get
legit
like a
check.
movie
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is way better. But I know the reason why. Like a lot of girls don't mind doing sex work, but they don't want anybody to know about it.
Right. Once you're out there on camera in front of people. Exactly. Once it's on the internet, it's there forever. You can't scrub that these days. You're out there. Yeah.
So that's why I'm always telling people, like, if you really want to do this, like, make sure you've thought through every possible future, possibility, probability. And, your family can find out, are they going to be okay with that? Are they going to excommunicate you? Your future employers, if your future school. I mean, literally there's so many things that could take away future opportunities for you if you have other things in mind for your future. So I just tell people, like, make sure that that you're okay with this forever.
Yeah, at that point, okay, make sure, like you said, it's on internet.
Yep.
You can't get rid of it. I guess so. Once you got started in the industry, so was there a reason you only went on the girl road?
Yeah. At the time when I got into the industry, me always talking about wanting to be a porn star and stuff, I never even really thought about boy, girl, any of that shit. Like, I knew I was queer around obviously puberty, the same kind of time. I was just like, oh, okay, I also like women. But my I just never thought of it like, would I have sex with men on camera? I was just like, I'm gonna be a porn star. Like, I'm gonna be naked, not really thinking of all the details. Me not knowing anything either at that time.
You didn't know what you were going to get into at that time. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna have no clothes on. I'm gonna be nude, and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
And I wasn't like a promiscuous young lady. I didn't have sex really. Like, I mean, I kind of had an experience when I was 15, like quote unquote sex. I mean,
yeah.
But I think my first like real sex experience, I was probably around 17, with a boyfriend, and just like, to be honest, I have not had a lot of sex with men. But so anyways, so I dated, I was with my boyfriend at the time. And so to me, it wasn't even a question when I started actually getting the work. It was like, well, yeah, I'm not going to cheat on my boyfriend by sleeping with other guys. And that was the mindset at the time. And, his thing at the time was very much like, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, don't sleep with guys, sleep with girls. For video, it's fine. And like for work, it's fine or whatever. But he also was never like, and so I was with him for 9 years, and it was not great. But he just was not supportive at all of my career. He would never be like, I don't want you doing this. None of that shit. But he would never ask me about it. He was never, how was your day? How was your shoot? None of that shit. It was kind of just like, I go and I do my job, and we just don't really talk about it.
Yeah, it's like, don't ask, don't tell when it comes to that. You're doing your own thing. I don't want to hear about it. And like you said, I guess like supportive of you, but not totally. Yeah.
Not in a supportive way.
Exactly. Right.
And he's kind of just like, if he didn't have to work, he didn't want to. He mostly didn't have jobs when we were together. It's just one of those things.
So as long as you were bringing home the bacon, it was
fine.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was 18 when we started dating, and I was like 27 when I was finally able to move on with my life. So it's just something that I think a lot of young people, or we can all kind of relate to making not the best decisions when we're young.
Yeah, that's true.
Or not making the decisions that we should have made.
Right. Thinking you made the right decision at the time, then you look back and you're like, no, that was a bad idea. Shouldn't have done that one.
And it's all fine. Like I am the person I am today because of those experiences, and I'm with the person I am with today, that I would never change anything about my past if it meant that I wouldn't have ended up with my current partner. Like, I wouldn't change even one painful thing, because it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Now.
It's always that journey you're on to find that end goal with everything. So it all works out in the end. And you still had fun throughout the whole process with everything. And
work was like a reprieve for sure.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, you're still having fun with that and doing all sorts of different videos. And like you said, now, did you ever aspire to break into like actual like mainstream acting?
Of course. That was that was the ultimate dream growing up. I always wanted to be like just famous actress, musician, singer, band, whatever, anything like that. I wanted that. But, it seems a little unrealistic. And so I have people all the time are like, why don't you try being a mainstream actress? And I'm just like, do you think that's something I can just decide to do one day and then I am one? And I've lived in LA. I've been friends with a lot of people who have spent time in the mainstream industry. And even just like, you can read Cassandra Peterson's book, for example, Elvira. Any celebrity story about how it all begins is you have to sacrifice your life almost 100%. Go to auditions constantly. You're getting rejections constantly, and then you still have to find a way to bring in an income while you're living in one of the most expensive places to live in the country. You know, trying to book gigs and trying to break into this industry, you know, Hollywood industry, it's so unrealistic, and it's so just, it sounds like a nightmare. So, I mean, if someone is like, hey, we want to put you in a mainstream movie and we're just going to give you the role and that's it, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do this now.
Yeah.
But
All right, sign me up.
I'm not going to live in Hollywood, you know, sharing a 1-bedroom apartment with 5 other people. So while I waitress or something, so I can go to auditions every fucking day, and like, no, thank you. That does
No.
not sound fun.
No, because I think a lot of people do try to use the adult industry as that catapult to get into the mainstream movies.
A lot of people do, but I think that the route that I've chosen with the adult industry is one that just doesn't lead to the kind of fame and popularity that might get you noticed by the mainstream. So, you know, like the biggest example I can think of from my time would be like Sasha Grey. And when she came in, you know, she was like 19 and she did everything, and she was like filthy, and you didn't see a lot of that at that time. And so she just like catapulted to popularity. And so I think for her, you know, it was really easy to sort of get that mainstream, you know, being noticed. And like, for example, you know, Steven Soderbergh like made a movie with her as the main character. And, you know, so I'm feeling like, oh, this one director was watching enough porn, and, you know, like,
and they decided, okay, said, oh, I've seen her enough times that, okay, I can use her in this movie. All right, perfect.
Yeah. So, and it's just like, you know, I don't, already by not doing boy girl, like you're cutting that shit down to like a quarter. You know, like, just so even though I've been around a long time and like I do have a certain level of notoriety, it's still a fraction of, you know, like some of these people, like you know, Angela White or like a Bella Danger, like those are really, really, really popular stars because they're great at what they do, but they're also doing everything, you know, doing a boy girl, doing anal, all that stuff. And it's just not, that's just not for me.
Right, it's not your thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. You stick with what you like and what you have fun with. So
totally. That's what I think is really important too, and the reason why like the fans that I do have and the people that do watch me are really fierce and they're super loyal, because they're not seeing a lot of what I make and how I perform. They're not seeing a lot of that in the mainstream. And so it's maybe like not as many people, but the people that I do have are just like fierce. Like they will stick with me for years and years and years. So like I've got some fans that have been talking to me on Twitter since like 2008, like just still around, still loving what I do. And
I mean, you still have the following. I mean, there's no reason you should compromise your own, I don't want to say morals, but you have your own. No,
it's not
limits.
morals.
It's your limits of
it's not
of
even, it's just like I do what I feel I can be authentic with and passionate about. And that's what these fans like really, that's why they stick with me for so long, is because of that authenticity. And I think if I was trying to do things that didn't like resonate with me in the same way, that would just, you'd see that come across in my performances. And then I would start representing something that didn't feel like was me.
No, right. If people woke up tomorrow morning and then saw you were doing these hardcore anal videos or something, people would be like, what happened here when when you
Yeah,
have
what's
you
the change?
yeah
But
what
that being
happened?
said, I'm I've evolved in several ways over the past 20 years, and um so like that can continue to happen. I'll never say like, oh, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do
Right,
in the
right.
future.
It's never say never. I mean,
Yeah.
you have your thoughts
Yeah.
right now of what you like to do, what you enjoy, and that's
Yeah.
really what you should be doing is what you enjoy, and not doing things just for the sake of doing them,
Yeah.
hoping to be seen or anything like that. Because for how long
Nope.
you've been doing this now, I think you want to stick with what you like, what you can do, what the people like to watch you do, and go from there. There's no point in trying to reinvent or do things just to say, "Oh yeah, I did this." It's like,
Yeah.
nah, there's no point with that.
Nah. Mm-mm.
So what's next for you? What are you working on these days? What do people have to look forward to see you come out with?
Well, so I've got, my sort of my studio productions. And I think right now in the works, hopefully coming out in the next few weeks, is I made a strap-on threesome video, a movie with my partner Drake Manowar. So those threesomes are ones where um he's there with his penis and I am there with my dick.
Yeah, see, yeah,
And so yeah, so we both fuck with our dicks. The third. So one of the scenes is a double vag and DP, and the other one is your sort of more standard DP. And then yeah, two more scenes, just sort of tag teaming, taking turns. There's a really fun thing that we do sometimes where the girl is underneath me and I'm fucking her kind of like missionary, and then he comes behind me and like he fucks me as I fuck her. Like, it's awesome. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
Now you're working on a new website now too, right? Is that
No,
or
no new website, no.
okay. Maybe that was the other link, I guess, because I know, trust me, I know you have like 50 different links of where
I do.
where
I
people can
do.
find you. I mean, it's so tough these days to keep track of. Okay, well, you have
Yeah,
you have your own website, you have an
I do.
OnlyFans, you have
Yeah.
other
Many
sites where
vids.
people can find you, cam sites. I mean,
Yeah, I don't really cam though, but so I've got like sin-sage.com, and that's just my site where you can go there and order custom videos. I have like a form you can fill out, an FAQ, all that. So I'm a custom video producer as well. Like, I make high quality custom videos, not just like little things I shoot on my phone for a couple minutes. Like, we have all the equipment. We make like custom videos.
legit, yeah. Yeah,
Legit.
you know your money's going to a good cause when you do it, and not some
Well, you're
5
gonna
minute
get.
grainy video where you're like,
Oh
what
hell
just
no,
happened?
no. You're gonna get like a high quality product. So sin-sage.com is where you can find that. I also sell my features there. So when I make a full length feature movie, those are for sale on my website, sin-sage.com. There's also like interviews and podcasts, things like that. There's a gallery. You can sign up for a little newsletter I send out a couple times a year. So that's a great site for that. But then, of course, my OnlyFans, like I'm always trying to get more people to sign up for my OnlyFans. I'm so generous on my OnlyFans. It's ridiculous. It's only $10 a month. And then my other two main things are my ManyVid store and my Clips for Sale store. So sinsage.manyvids.com, and then Sinn Sage Dreams is my Clips for Sale store. Those are all sort of like my main vortex of things that
Where you can find
get
the
all that
whole,
Sinn Sage energy.
I was gonna say the whole brand, the whole.
Yes.
Because like, I guess because is everything pretty much these days what you do on the websites and clips. I mean, I know there still is DVDs and videos that go out there, but are you really producing any of those anymore? Like where the other day you'd get whatever it was, lesbian MILFs or whatever, volume 4 or whatever. I mean, is there still a big market for like a whole DVD of videos, or is it more just clips and separate scenes that are on websites these days?
So everything is really, I mean, it's all there, all of it. So I do all of it. But I will say that, since, especially since I moved to Vegas, I've been living in Vegas the past like 4 years. Um, so getting to LA is like, so that's what you're talking about is like studio shoots. So we
Right,
don't
right.
like DVDs, that's not really a thing anymore. Like kind of, I guess a little bit, but
Right. Well, that's what I was asking because I was like,
kind of dying.
yeah,
So yeah, I hear what you're saying. So when I'm saying like the features that I make that I sell on my site, that means what a DVD used to be, right? So like I have a box cover and I have 4 scenes, but now it's just like an MP4 download. So you'll go to my website, you'll see, my most recent movie was Sinn's Trans Lesbian Lovers, and I got like lots of nominations for that and stuff like that. But it's not a DVD. It's not a physical copy.
oh, right, yeah. I knew that. I was just saying I didn't know if anybody was
Yeah,
still out there producing DVDs anymore. I'm like, I think that's pretty much gone to the wayside now, where it's just
yeah.
downloads and clips.
Yeah, but
It's
we're still putting together like 4 scene movies that like would be a DVD if we were
okay,
still making DVDs.
okay,
But so that's just what my little company makes, and I just call, I'm like an indie company, so like independent film. Okay, so everything's
yeah,
super low budget, very cheap, and I don't have so yeah, so but then like companies like Adult Time, like Girls Way, like Sweetheart Video, Girlfriends Films, like they're still making those features as well. It's just you're less likely to buy a physical copy of it, I guess. But those are all like, I don't want to say only produced in LA, but a lot. So, but I'm not gonna go out there for like one gig. It's like a 5-hour drive for me. So, going all the way out there, coming
yeah,
all the way
right,
back,
right.
like one gig.
It's the
So,
trade-off of, is it worth your
yeah,
time to do that or do
yeah.
your own stuff here?
Right. And that's the
And
thing. So like I do my own stuff, which is again like OnlyFans, all the clip stores, making the custom videos, every performer we all do it differently. Like some of, especially I'd say like more newer people to the industry, they're probably still focusing on getting hired and booked in LA from studios that are paying them a performance fee.
right,
And
right.
the way that people like myself look at it now is that like those are still worth doing, because it's always nice to just get handed a paycheck for a performance. That's great too, but it's also kind of like advertising for your stuff now. So if I go out and do a shoot for a company in LA, well then eventually that's going to come out, and then people who kind of only watch those videos, they're going to be like, oh, Sinn's still around. And maybe they'll think in their head, I wonder if she has an OnlyFans. And like, maybe that will like motivate them to find like the stuff that I'm making and doing on my own, which is sort of like the ultimate goal. Because something I learned from, the first half of my career was all me performing for companies and just getting a paycheck. Right. And so I was able to make a decent living and I have the freedom, which is like the most important thing about this job for me, but not really like save up a lot of money. And it wasn't until I transitioned to producing custom videos and then like owning my own content and selling my own content and being the owner that like I could like watch my savings kind of grow. And so to me, I feel like that should kind of always be the goal, but but I was, again, sort of privileged in the sense that like I had a career, I made a name for myself beforehand. And then like when Pornhub sort of came along and like.
Right. It was a different time in the beginning when you started compared
Such a
to
different
now.
time.
Like
Totally
even
different
10,
time.
10
Yeah.
years ago. I mean, yes,
Yeah,
streaming
10
was a
years ago.
thing, but it wasn't where it
Eh,
is now with everything
yeah.
over the last 5
Yeah.
years. And
Yes. And so we've all, like you have to adapt, and everyone's just going to do the thing what works for them and makes them, just the most comfortable with whatever they're doing. But, I really advocate for performers to start making their own stuff as soon as possible and just use your phone and, just learn to edit and like get your stuff up for sale somewhere where you're making like a percentage off every sale you make. Because, that's the thing too, though, like everybody used to always ask, and still kind of does sometimes, like, you make residuals, right? Like when you're in a movie for such and such company, like you make residuals. And I'm like, fuck no, dude. It's never been a thing ever. We get a performance fee and that is it. So, the company paying you the performance fee, they're the one who's making the profit off your work for the next fucking 30 years.
Right.
Like,
you're not getting any money off any clicks. Somebody just playing that video on Pornhub. It's like, nope, you don't see anything. They're the ones getting the money off of that. You got your one check and then you're on your way.
Yes. Yeah, so,
but if you do it yourself, then you get that money every single time. Anybody downloads it, that's money to you.
Yep. So that's this. And another thing to just say quickly about, being like, when you tell porn stars on Twitter or something, like, I'm your number one fan, or you talk to them all the time, but so you're engaging with them all the time, but you're not actually buying anything from them. Like, if you don't actually like join their OnlyFans, if you don't go to their clip stores and spend money on their clip stores, like, then you're not their number one fan and you're not really supporting them at all.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like my number one fan, like she supports me on every possible platform that I have. You know what I mean? And she has she has let me know how much she loves my work by not only telling me, but also by purchasing my products and buying custom videos from me and supporting me in that way, like in a really real way. So it gets a little frustrating sometimes because I'm very, like, I engage with people on Twitter. And then certain people that like keep engaging. And then I'm like, it'll be a video that they're like, wow, this looks so hot. And I'm like, yeah, you should buy it. Especially like $10. And then they'll be like, oh yeah. And I'm like, no, but really, like, have you ever bought one of my clips ever? And then they start with this thing where it's like, maybe, well, I just don't, think of you in that way. And I'm like, that's not a compliment. Like,
right. Then why are you here in the first place?
Yeah, why are you here? Oh, I just like your personality and I just like your, I'm like, no, dude, that's not a compliment. Like, me paying attention to you on Twitter, that's labor.
Right.
And you're just fine to like get that free labor from me and, talk up like a big game as though you're like supporting me, but you can't even spend $10 on something I've made. Like, it just, or again, like my OnlyFans is only $10 a month and I post content every single day. I answer the DMs like a real person, not like a sex robot trying to, you know what I mean? Like, and it's me, it's really me doing
right.
it.
It's you. Right. Some people have somebody that they pay to do it for them and post things and respond to messages. Yes, but if you're out there doing it yourself, this is your own time. You can be doing anything so else much. With it. Yeah.
It's so much effort too. And that, like, I think a big complaint for a lot of people that, maybe with the companies that are doing it for some of these performers, it's like they're just always trying to get more money out of them. They're just like, oh, let's do a sexting session, baby, and all this stuff. And it's just like, gimme. And, so I'm probably not making like the most money. I know I'm not on OnlyFans, but you're getting like a truly authentic experience there with me. And it costs you $10 for an entire month. And people are just like, yeah, sorry, like, I just can't do it. And I'm like, then fucking like leave me alone. Don't like monopolize my attention and stuff and claim to be like a supporter when you can't even like donate $10 to my me eating food and paying bills and like my life. So that's just maybe a little rant, but I think it's important.
That's all right. It is. No, definitely. I think it's important
for people to hear.
No, it is for sure.
That, like, we're human beings and like we put a lot of effort into this stuff and we need to feed ourselves. This is capitalism.
It's your job. You're out there, you're doing your job. I mean, anybody who goes to work, you do your job, you want to get paid. It's the same thing.
Yes. And people
With
will
you.
complain to me sometimes, and I'm just like, they'll be like, oh, well, you know, this custom video, it's too much. I think I've seen other girls do this for less, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do you walk into a Walmart and tell them that they're pricing their products wrong? Like, do you argue with the fucking checker? No,
Right.
you don't.
If you don't like it, go someplace else. I mean, that's really
Yeah.
what it comes down to. You're not going to
Yeah.
waste your time conversing with somebody who is not going to change their mind. And they're just,
Yeah,
and I think a lot of it is people just want the freebies. That's the main thing.
And
that they
so
always
many people, especially, you know, younger people who've grown up with free access to porn on their phones
Mhm.
any time of the day or night. Like they just have it in their head, like, I will never pay for porn. And, you know, when I was in middle school, I remember feeling like I will never pay for makeup when I can just steal it from fucking Rite Aid. I'm a grown up now, and I realize that's very fucked up. Well,
Yeah.
fuck Rite Aid. Fuck Rite Aid. I'll steal from Rite Aid all day long. Like, you know, if it was like Sally Mae's makeup store, like that would be totally fucked up, right? So. No, you don't steal from little mom and pop shops. Like, that's really all I am. I'm not a corporation. I'm not a fucking millionaire. Like, far from it. So,
right.
You know, I'm really just trying to make a living doing something that provides me with the freedom that I feel I need to live a good life for myself. It provides me with, you know, control over where I work, who I work with, when I work, and just the things that, like, for myself, I feel I need. And that also that I love to do, that I have really a lot of fun performing and stuff. So, you know, I'm just trying to make a living doing that. And I need financial support from the people to buy my products.
Exactly. No, yeah. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with, like I said, it's your job. This is what you're doing. You're putting it out there.
Yeah.
And either you buy it and enjoy it, or you move along to somebody else. I mean, that's it. Nobody's forcing anybody to say, hey, you have to pay the money to buy this. Just don't come out here looking for handouts.
Totally.
And that's the same thing with in any aspect of life. You don't just go around looking for handouts. You put in the work. You do what you got to do. You pay for what you need.
Yeah.
Unless you want to steal from Rite Aid, that's fine. There's no shame in that.
Steal from Walmart, you're fine. Walmart will be okay.
Yeah. They'll survive. That's not a problem. Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, and kind of the way I think about OnlyFans, or if OnlyFans ever disappears, any sort of like fan club style site like that. It's kind of like, so I watch a ton of YouTube. I love YouTube videos. There's so much to learn and talk about and discuss on YouTube videos. I think about these fan sites as kind of like a Patreon, but, you know, YouTube and Patreon will not have us or anyone talking about sex at all. But
and you almost lost OnlyFans too when they were gonna get away from that, but then they decided, they saw how much money they're making, and they're like, oh wait, no, never mind.
I have to tell you though that I don't have a complete faith that that's not going to go ahead and happen again.
But it could,
because I think that sometimes it's not just profits and money. There's a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes with corporations like this. So I don't know, but yeah, I kind of think so. Like my favorite YouTubers, you know, they're like, hey, thanks for watching, you know, leave a like and subscribe and join my Patreon if you feel like you want to. And, you know, so then like I pay monthly. It's just like tips. So people whose content on YouTube that I just absolutely adore, and I watch it every time they come out with a video, you know, I'll shoot them like $5 a month or $10 a month or whatever. And then you get access to like some more content and stuff like that. And so I just kind of think of it the same way. Like if you love my work and you love what I do, if you join my OnlyFans for $10 a month, and like you'll get so much from it. And it's really just the same thing. And thankfully, you know, Patreons work really well for a lot of creators. And so it's nice to know that, I think especially this generation too, it's like they understand that if they really like something, they want to see more of it, like they're going to have to give some money to like allow it to keep happening. And you're always going to have those people out there that are never going to give a dime. But thankfully, there are a lot of people out there that want to actually support you and want to see your stuff and will pay you for what you do. And I'm very grateful for those people. And I try to do it myself. I try to give back to like the media and the content that I consume as well. So.
Yeah. And even if you can't pay the money for it, at least if you can get out there and if you can like something or share it and tell people about it too, because even if you can't pay for it or you have issues going on, you can't spend the money on it. Somebody else sees it and goes, "Oh shit, I like this."
Yeah, totally.
I'm gonna sign up and pay for it. So you're essentially getting a referral through that person.
Sure.
And they helped it out. So I mean,
anyone who does that, I'll be happy to send you a free video.
Yeah, there. Just spread the good word, people. That's all we're asking here. But hey, Miss Sinn Sage, I appreciate you coming on here, taking the time to chat, have a beverage with me, and talk about all the goings on in your world and in the adult industry. I think we hit all the websites and everything, but I'll put up all the links on the website and with the podcast, because like I said, there's quite a few in there that people can find you on, sign up for, spread the good word. Anything else you want to hit before we sign off here?
No, that's good. That's good for now. I think.
All right. Well, hey, next time we'll bring on the MD 2020, and I'll get you get the bling bling, and then we'll see where we get to.
Sounds good.
She is Miss Sinn Sage. Give her a follow. Check out her OnlyFans, her website, all that good stuff. Be sure to check her out. I am Bumwine Bob, and until next time, cheers.
I need a beer.